Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
Jennifer, do you know the story of the three blind men and the elephant?
I know the three blind mice, but I don't know the three blind men and the elephant.
So, three blind men had never experienced an elephant, and someone took them to the zoo and got them where they could go up and feel a part of the elephant.
Okay.
The challenge was that each of the three individuals touched a different part of the elephant.
Hmm.
One touched the trunk, one touched the leg, and one touched the tail. And so their perception of what an elephant was
Mm.
became their reality.
So,
What they experienced framed their perspective.
so that is, yeah, perspective. That's the key word there for me is the perspective of where you're coming at something is how you formed your opinion.
Absolutely. And that's really what we're going to talk about today is how diving into what ChatGPT has done to shift the reality and the conversation about the reality to focus and craft people's perceptions.
Yeah, I think they have done an excellent job of crafting the perception of how many people are using ChatGPT and maybe how they're doing that is through their own brand rodeo show of controlling the messaging and getting out there, going on this public like tour and talking to as many media outlets that they possibly can to control what people are thinking. They essentially went around Google search and went to the people and what they're listening to.
Which is really a good lesson, I think, for all of us,
Yeah.
is that sometimes, and I think it's so funny because ChatGPT is such a tech tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what they recognized is they could circle the drain in the tech space.
Yeah.
But if they really wanted to reach the masses, and that's important for them right now,
Yeah.
they needed to get out of their box. They needed to get away from their computers and interact real time with real people to tell their story.
And why not go to the places that were probably already upset with how things were going in the Google world? And it's exciting, it's new, like it meshed a lot of different things. And it really kind of kept people going. So that perception is reality because we don't actually know how people or if they're using it in the ways that we think that they are. So they created that perception.
A lot of the information that's floating around, including I have this survey that I've been running for a while now, trying to collect data on how marketers are using it. And there is some consistency in the data, but it is all self reported.
Yeah.
And we all know it, we're not lying, but we quote the truth. If it serves our narrative to be standing in front of a group and say, oh, yeah, I use ChatGPT every single day,
It's
maybe
it's
I,
our
yeah.
yeah, it's our own perception. Like we
Mhm,
are tech people and
mhm.
we tend to be tech related. And when you get out in the real world and you start asking questions, are people using ChatGPT? What you actually find is they will say yes most of
Mhm.
the time. But if you're pretty well versed in it, which I think I am, and I start asking a little bit further questions, it's not quite to the degree that you think. And furthermore, a lot of research is actually showing that people are using both Google search and ChatGPT. And then I found it even more interesting. Neil Patel, I just listened to podcast him, that actually more people are going now to Google, not more, let me rephrase that. The increase of Google has caught up.
Mhm. Well,
And
I think. what we saw, and I'm going to use my husband as an example. Sorry, Andy. Um, I was talking about ChatGPT a lot, and he's like, well, I should learn how to use this because I used to be way back in the day a tech guy. And he's a finance guy, he's not a tech guy anymore. So he started using ChatGPT, and I'm like, why are you using ChatGPT for that? Why don't you just go to Google? Well, because no, ChatGPT is not better. Go do a Google search. He's like, oh. And so we had conversations about when is ChatGPT better? When is Google better? And and so he now jumps back and forth much more naturally. He does search on his phone with Google, but he was writing uh, an artist contract an extended time period loan of one of his pieces. And he went to ChatGPT and said, create a first draft. And they did, and ChatGPT actually suggested things that he would not have considered. That was a huge time saving. Where we're going for dinner, Google.
Yes, yes. I think that it's going to be maybe, hit or miss, and we don't really know where people are going. I think they're going to be, trying to efficiency. I think that people don't want to have to go all over the place. I use ChatGPT as a tool. I personally don't use it as a search reference. I use it to try to understand something better, to synthesize information. But I'm a trust but verify person. And so I want to actually go to the article. So I will go to multiple places because I know that it hallucinates and it doesn't always give me all the information. And
see, that was what I liked better about Claude was when I was doing research, Claude would give me the overview and then cite all the sources.
yeah.
And it was a lot more reliable, but it wasn't as good a writer.
Yeah.
And it didn't really get my voice. I do want to complain about ChatGPT because
but so going back to the perception is that you can control the narrative of how somebody feels about you by going to places that social media where you can control that perception. And you might actually be going to social media, but social media also works like an echo chamber. So if you have a lot of tech type people, then you're going to only kind of see those tech type answers. And then, out on networking events and offline, as people are not trusting necessarily that anything that they see online is real, I think that is a huge strategy. And what did ChatGPT do? They went offline.
They did. They recognized if we want to make more people comfortable with our product, because I think they're getting to a point where they have saturated the market with the marketers. In other words, they have saturated the marketing professional. We're on board, we understand, but if they want to grow, they have to get their app on the phones.
Yeah, so that's where they're
your
going to lose.
mom.
That's where they're going to lose, is that they're not on the phones. Apple is. They're not in the social media networks, Facebook, Grok, all of those are. They're not on your Chrome browser that people use. Sure, they have tried to make Sora, which is their social media. They tried to make a new Chrome browser, which, oh my gosh, the security problems with that. Like they're trying to get into the tools that people are already using, but that's a hard sell when a lot of these places have so much other, like Chrome, all the tools and all the free.
Okay, and let's remember Chrome is a Google product, so they're going to push Gemini. Now, I do have the ChatGPT on my iPhone, and it does sync with my desktop version.
Yeah.
So for me, again, but I'm a marketer. I'm not. My husband does not have ChatGPT on his phone.
No, they're not going to download another app. That's a
No,
friction.
no, no.
You're
Now
not
my
going to download another browser. That's a friction. I'm not on
Mhm,
the phone. That's a friction.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
tool.
Yeah, it's a tool, but I think they are creating more interest,
Oh, yeah.
and I think people do. The average person, I think, still goes back to their computer when they're doing real research. When my
Mhm.
brother plans a trip, and he plans multiple trips a year, he gets online and he searches Google and he finds different locations. And I showed him how to use ChatGPT to come up with a preliminary itinerary.
Yeah.
And it pointed out things that he was interested in, and he could merge, the two, and found some really, cool things that he could do. Could he still do that with TripAdvisor and with Google? Absolutely. But the perception that ChatGPT is trying to create is that it's easier and faster to do it with us.
You know the best way to control perception? Don't stop
Okay.
talking.
Just keep putting those messages out there. Okay, if we have shifted your perception of ChatGPT, or if you're still holding on to the trunk of that elephant, check out more of our conversations about AI and other marketing tools, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.